spare his brother from oblivion, the second horseman rode forth. And his name was Death.
Hey gamers, welcome back to Square One Games. My name is Exonovit, and I'm here to bring you guys another unlock from Darksiders 2. It's called A True Horseman, and you have to complete the game on Apocalyptic. I just wanted to set this video up right quick. I'm not going to be going through any of the puzzles or any of the dungeons, temples, anything like that, because I've covered that all in other videos on the channel. I will be going through all the boss fights, mini boss fights. I'm not going to be going through any optional boss fights, just things that, just fights that propel the story forward. I just want to kind of point that out before we get the video started. I'll be giving you as much strategy as I can, but to be honest, it really wasn't that difficult on Apocalyptic once you've done your New Game Plus, and if you have the right weapon. All my stats and stuff will be in the description, so you can check out kind of what I was running. It may not be accurate across every boss fight, just because I leveled up some, obviously, from when I fought the first to the last. But I never changed my weapons, so my weapons were always the same. The only thing that changed was that I leveled up some and maybe added some skill points to a skill tree or something, but no big deal in terms of what I was actually using. So I just wanted to point all that out. I'm not going to be covering the Soul Arbiter's Maze or anything like that, because it's not something that you have to do to get the unlock. So I'm kind of just pointing out the bosses that you would have to face in order to get the unlock. And let's go ahead and get this thing started. Okay, so the first enemy that you're going to be facing is the Ice Giant. This is why you're on the way to the Crowfather. I really had no issues with this guy based on the stats that you see in the description. I just went in there and started hitting him, dodged. Really didn't even need to call out the ghouls, even though I had them. I don't think I ever called them out, and took him down fairly quickly. But not a very hard boss. Now War, I actually probably played this a little bit too tentative. I should have probably just played more aggressive. I had plenty of potions, I had the ghouls, but I thought because I was playing on Apocalyptic that it was going to be like extremely difficult, and I was worried about him getting the upper hand on me. So I was playing a little bit tentative, and I probably should have just played more aggressive. You'll see near the end of this, after I knock him down, after this section right here, that I play way more aggressive and the fight goes a whole lot quicker. So the strategy is all the same though. I mean, watch out for his triple attack. He does the fast attack, the medium attack, and then the long range attack. You just kind of have to watch out for those. Keep dodging. You'll see here I just decided to kind of go toe to toe with him, and you'll see his energy start to drop pretty quick. So in my opinion, if you're leveled up enough and you feel like you have the stats, just play aggressive, and this fight can go really fast. If you decide to play tentative, that's fine too. You're gonna win the fight if you know how to dodge. I guess if you know how to dodge his attacks correctly. So it just depends on how fast you want to take him out. All right, this is actually one of the bosses in the Fire of the Mountain, and not too hard of a boss. You just got to watch out for that sliding arm attack that he does. Call the ghouls out if you have them. And you can see his energy goes down really fast. You can see now that I'm playing a whole lot more aggressive, and I'm killing the enemies a whole lot quicker. This is, I think his name is Karkanos, something like that. Big old ugly joker. This guy can actually be a little bit of a headache, only because everything is so time constricted. You know, you have to kill this thing, you have to push the ball fast enough before it hatches, or I should say egg, I guess that's what that is. So you can see I kind of messed up my first attempt because I couldn't kill that first little guy, that first little enemy fast enough. I probably should have just called out the ghouls, took out that first little enemy, and I could have got that first pushed that first ball on Karkanos. But I didn't do it, and this time I did. I called the ghouls out, took him out, and you want to do that. You don't want to leave that little, I'm going to call it a crab. You don't want to leave that little crab kind of wandering around, because he can hit you and knock you down, and if you fall on the ground, then there's that delay where you're not able to get hits because you're on the ground. Now obviously if you have the ghouls out, you know, they can be getting hits for you, but they're not going to do, they're not going to do nearly as much damage as you're going to do if you're able to put hits on them. So call the ghouls out, go ahead and take out that thing, that little crab. See right there, I let my ghouls do it for me, and I was able to go ahead and get up on Karkanos really fast. Now once you get him down to, you know, like half his energy or less, he's going to start doing this attack where he calls out these vines or whatever. I think they get me a couple of times here. In my normal playthrough, they didn't get me a lot. I don't know if they go faster or if, I don't think they're any bigger, but I don't know if they go faster. It felt like the timing was off when I did it on Apocalyptic. But either way, not that much of a deal. I mean, they're not really going to take off that much energy, and I have plenty of potions, so you know, even if you just have to sit there and take the hits, right, it should be no problem. You can see I'm taking this crab out again, and trying to also get my my wrath points back. That's why I didn't call the ghouls out before, because I was out of wrath, and I probably should have just used the wrath potion, but you know, I don't think it's neither here nor there. I don't think it would have, you know, allowed me to get any more hits on him any quicker, you know what I mean, than the way that I did it. So got to dodge these one more time, and again they get me, and I think they got me there because I keep doing that third jump. You know how you can dodge twice, and then on the third one you end up doing that like cartwheel somersault thing. I kept doing that, and that's what got me hit. So try to avoid doing that third vault, I guess, and you should be fine. And you can tell that he's not really that hard of a boss on Apocalyptic. It's just a lot of aggravation because of the way that they set this boss up. So just get through it, and you shouldn't have any problems taking him out. Alright, so this is in the Lost Temple, at the end of the Lost Temple, the Construct Hulk. This is another kind of aggravating boss, not very hard at all. Stay around the outer edges of the map. He does have this like ground and pound thing where these shock waves come out. Just make sure you're jumping when he does that and you won't get hurt. And you're basically just waiting for him to ground and pound the level so that the bombs will drop. And as soon as the bomb drops, you just have to be near one of them so you're able to pick it up. And then just toss it on him, it'll explode, it'll knock him down. Now I did some stuff in this fight on purpose because I wanted to show a couple of things. You can see that right now his heart is exposed, and I went into Reaper form because I remember when I played it on normal, I went into Reaper and it didn't really do that much damage. And you can see right there that it looks like I did a lot of damage in Reaper form, but I'm betting that I could have done more damage just swinging my scythes. And I can prove that here in a second, because near the end of the fight I just take off a lot of damage in a round. I can't test it because I can't verify it, but my thought is that Reaper is kind of weak versus the level that I have in terms of my size. Here's another thing I wanted to show. Don't ever get caught up on behind the construct. That happened to me also in one of my playthroughs, and I wanted to show that you can do some damage if you get stuck behind him, but you got to go for that heart every single time. And I think the rest of this I play the match out like I want to play it out. Some of these fights you're going to see me do things on purpose, because as I'm filming this I'm trying to think ahead to what might be a hindrance to you while you're playing, and that way it kind of helps everybody. So I'm just waiting for him to drop a bomb. I'm trying to get out of the way of those enemies, because if they hit you with the bomb in your hand then it blows up. So now you can see I'm going straight for the heart. You see the energy just going way down right there, you know what I mean? And a huge chunk of it went down when I hit him with the guillotine. A lot of those in that little flurry right there, I was hitting the other enemies instead of the boss. That's why I didn't probably go down all the way. So again, this is not a very hard boss. It's just a little bit aggravating, just because of the way that the boss is set up. So I don't think it's going to be a problem for you. Even if you're not as leveled up as I am in my game, you still shouldn't have a problem with it if you use these strategies. And here I'm just calling out the ghouls, take him out, and he's all done. Alright, so this is the Guardian. This is right after you go through Heart of the Mountain. You got to fight the big old Guardian. Now this guy is not that hard. Really, he's not that hard at all. The only thing that makes this enemy very hard is if you don't know what you're doing. Like if you don't know what you're supposed to be doing in order to hurt him. You want to get as far back as you can. You see how I'm real far back from him, because when he swings his hammer, if you're close to it, it's going to knock you down. And I've tried to like do the RB where I speed up the horse, and it's very hard to dodge it. So you got to stay far back, and then you got to rush him and shoot those bombs on his arm, and that's going to cause him to kind of fall down and collapse. go ahead and switch to your death grip, and I think that it does it for you. I didn't even notice that when I was going through it, but I just saw right there. I think it kind of does it for you sometimes. So, but if you're not on death grip, go ahead and switch, hop back on your horse, and again just kind of ride out as far as you can, and that way you don't get hit with the hammer. Even if you do get hit with the hammer, at most it's just going to be aggravating. It's not going to kill you. And then again, just rush forward, take out the bombs, and just repeat that process. Now after you do the second arm, well, I don't want to say the second arm, after the first arm is destroyed twice, so this is the second time, you're going to be able to move to his other arm, and I'll kind of walk you guys through that because the attacks are a little bit different. Right here I'm like, where is the I was trying to find the hook. I got lost there for a second, but go ahead and take that out. And then he's going to switch to his other arm, which has like a, I call it a bowling ball, but I don't know what it's really called. But anyway, he kind of shoots it out at you, and what you have to do is you have to lock onto it with your gun and shoot it. Now on normal difficulty, you can unload one clip and take out the ball. In Apocalyptic, it seems like you need to do, I don't know, maybe if you're leveled up enough, you can probably get it in one clip, but I think it might take two. And then you got to put the Guardian in between yourself and the ball, and that way when the ball comes to hit you, it hits the Guardian instead, and that's how you take out the Guardian. Then you just rinse and repeat that twice, and I think I show you all of it. I try not to edit this stuff too much because it is Apocalyptic, and want to make sure that you see the entire fight from start to finish. I think in some of the other videos I edited it down, so see how I'm shooting, and right then I didn't take off hardly any energy, so you have to keep dodging a little bit. Again, this boss can be a little bit aggravating, but he's probably not going to kill you. Even right then he stomped right on me, and it, maybe took off 20-25% of my health. But I mean, I have plenty of potions, so it's no big deal. Just keep taking it out, and then obviously you got to go on the other side of him again. So I guess my biggest downfall there was that I got a little bit too close to him. But a lot of times when you're trying to lock on that ball like that, you're not very aware of where he is because you're so focused on that ball, and that's kind of what happened to me. But not that bad. And it's about right now that I'm learning, because I had pretty much fought a couple bosses at this point, and I'm like, man, I'm leveled up so much that I don't think I'm going to have any problems with the bosses. And I think you'll see that as we continue the video. If you can get your stats high enough, the bosses are extremely easy. And the game only took me about, I want to say like 6.5-7 hours to go straight through, and that's because I knew where all the puzzles were. So it just depends on how quick you can get through the puzzles. But because I made videos that cover all the puzzles, it was pretty easy for me to just go right through the game. You probably remember this guy. This is in the Gilded Arena. You have to use Death Grip to latch on to this dude's face and pull him out of the ground, and you can actually hurt him. This can be a little bit annoying just because of the randomness from which he will come out of the ground. I've played around with maybe trying to get close to him and backing away. I've tried to find out a way so that I can make him come out of the ground like by my own admission. But what happens is I can't come up with a secure strategy for you guys to say, hey, if you do this, that, and the other, then he'll come out of the ground. I've tried getting close, I've tried getting far away, and I think it's just a timing issue. But maybe if you know different, you can leave it in the comments below. But this is actually the true boss right here, and I'll kind of walk you through how to defeat him. This is, I think it's Gnasher. I think the G is silent. Go ahead and call out your ghouls if you have him. And what you want to do is try to stay behind Gnasher. So if you're in front of him and he goes to swing on you, then you want to do your RB dodge, and you'll actually run through his legs or run around him, and you'll be able to hit him from behind or whatever. Now right there, what you have to do is you have to, when he bends over and crouches down, he kind of does this scream. You have to use your Death Grip to like pull that snake creature off of his body and get more hits. And then now you just have to dodge. There's going to be 3 times that this little enemy comes out of the ground, so just make sure you're dodging. And on the fourth one, he actually comes out of the ground and puts the body of Nashor back together again. And then you just have to repeat the process. So call your ghouls out. Like, they may not do any damage to Nashor, but what they're going to do is keep him focused on them. And that allows you to come from behind and just rack up some damage points on him. And again, I'm just waiting for this I call it the snake-like creature. He's basically come out of the ground 3 times, and then he's going to put Nashor. I think that's the 3rd time right there. And on the 4th one, he's going to come out of the ground and put Nashor back together, call the ghouls out, and continue to do work. Now he is going to get some energy back as he does this, but it shouldn't be that bad. You still should have the edge on him now that you know the strategy. You can take him out fairly quick. Alright, so this is the Farseer. Obviously you encounter him in Farseer's tomb. When I played through on normal, honestly I had a little bit of trouble with this guy because there was so much going on, but actually with Apocalyptic it was actually easier for me to take him down because I was a whole lot stronger in my Apocalyptic game than I was in my normal game. When I played through on normal, I didn't really take the time to do any leveling up. I just went straight through the game as fast as I could. So now I'm super leveled up, and in my honest opinion, just be aggressive. Put your target lock on the Farseer and never take it off, and just keep welling on it. Even if you have to use your potions, use them, and I don't think you're gonna have any problems with him. This is like a mini boss, nothing real fancy, but I did want to, you know, get you through it. It's just a Tormentor, real fast. Just call the ghouls out, take care of him. And this is another kind of fast boss right here. This is when you're looking for the 3 souls for the Judicator. I think this is the rune of the 3rd soul. You have to fight this bone skeleton. You just want to use Death Grip and latch onto him and take him out. Should be fairly quick. And then I think there's going to be some more enemies that show up. I think a bone giant. Yeah. And this bone giant, obviously, you take it out pretty much similar to the way you took out the ice giant in when you're on the way to the Crowfather. Just, again, throw down the ghouls if you have them, and attack from behind. So this is the fight between Basilius and, I'm pretty sure you pronounce it Echidna. I think in another commentary I pronounced it Echidna. But I think it's Echidna. It's one or the other. So this is the spider, this is the Basilius fight. This is, I think, at the end of the Court of Bones, if you're playing through the story. You're going to have to fight Basilius first. You're going to have to get his energy down a little bit. And then the way that you take out the spider is you want to get behind the spider. The spider has like a jumping attack as well as an attack that shoots like electricity in front of it. So you just never want to be in front of the spider, and you should be fine. And then again, just keep taking it right to Basilius. He's going to hop back on the spider again, and you just kind of, you know, just keep rinsing and repeating that process. And if you don't have ghouls or you haven't been leveling up ghouls, they're a great asset to kind of your arsenal if you're playing on the Apocalypse, in my opinion. If you're doing the Harbinger side, I really honestly don't have any tips for you because I never really used the Harbinger side. So I apologize for that, but if you can level up the ghouls, you should be sitting pretty good for Apocalypse. Now, this is the Wailing Host. I'm pretty sure you can take this guy out a couple of different ways. I've tried just hitting his hands before, but I find that it's easier just to attack his face. You're going to miss a lot because of the way that he is elevated, but at the end of the day, you know, running around trying to hit the hands, I don't know, I find it a little bit not tough to do, but I find that I'm not as concentrated on taking damage off the enemy when I'm trying to focus on getting the hands. So this is kind of how this fight goes. You're gonna hurt him enough to where he falls into the well. I call it the well. And this green light's gonna come out, and then you're gonna have a bunch of skeletons to fight. Don't just think as this skeleton part as, oh man, a bunch of enemies coming out. Use this to regenerate wrath, regenerate health. You know, maybe heal up if you need to. If you don't have something on your character build that can regenerate wrath or health, then, you know, use your potions. Try not to use them until maybe you've taken out most of the skeletons, and then use them so that you don't waste some of that energy. And then the second time he comes out, basically just do the same thing. Keep attacking him in his face, Except this time you're going to have to worry about skeletons while you also worry about him. You can see that I have my target on him the entire time, because I don't want to waste any attacks on the skeletons, because that's kind of what my ghouls are doing. My ghouls are kind of focusing on the skeletons too, and it kind of helps me to focus on him. So once you're done getting him about halfway down, you can pull his face off, or his mask off I should say, and he's going to fall back into the well. Again, use this strategically to build back your wrath. You can see how my wrath is really low, and I'm kind of using this to build it back up. And I have a wrath bonus on, I guess, so I'm able to get wrath back as I use redemption and use my guillotine blade. So just keep using that. There's going to be these snake things that come out, like these flying snakes, flying eels, whatever you want to call them. I never really worry about them at all. They don't really do much to hurt you. I guess if you have if you have a lot of defense, a lot of character build on, then they're really not that bad. And again, you're just using this strategically to build all your stats back up, and use your potions if you need to, and then we'll be able to take this guy in just a second. Now in this particular wave, you're going to have to worry about the Wailing Host, you're going to have to worry about the skeletons, and you're going to have to worry about those snake-like eel creatures coming out of the ground. So you just have to keep, again, you can see that I'm just focusing on the Wailing Host, because if he dies, everybody dies. And so my focus is to just keep hitting him as much as I can. And you know, like I said, you can probably hit those hands if you want to and take off damage, but I tend to just focus on him. So this is the Scribe. You find him at the end of the Stains of Heresy, near the end of the Stains of Heresy quest, once you went to the Ivory Citadel. This guy can be a little bit aggravating, only because you have to use the portal gun, or the Void Walker, or whatever you want to call it. It is the portal gun. You want to find any two portals. Doesn't have to be directly across from one another, and that way when he shoots that big yellow ball at you, you can dodge and it goes through the other portal and hits him, and then you can come in there and get some hits. And I was so strong there, I took off half his energy. He's going to go up into the air and start trying to shoot you with these yellow, like this yellow attack. Yep, right there. That's like his ground pound move right there. But he's also going to continue to start shooting you with that yellow ball again. You can see I'm standing in front of the portal. I dodged, got me another hit. Going to go up here and get some more hits on him. I don't think you can kill him right here, because he has to open up the portal that's underneath. And I can tell you that I do make a cut right here in a minute, because this took like a minute for me to get him to be able to shoot this laser through this portal. So you're probably going to see like a crossfade here in a second, and that's just where I just took out that minute where I was running around waiting on him. The best way to get him to use this attack on you is, you see how right there it missed me, is to stand right in front of the portal, and I also have a portal obviously upstairs that's open, and you go into the portal and let the ray follow you into the portal. That's probably the best way to get him to do that. Otherwise, you're going to be running around forever trying to get him to shoot through the portal. So this is Archon. This is after the Rod of Aurfell, and this is Archon. So this guy can be a little bit tricky, only because there are certain points in the fight where he can't be hurt. He's going to have that force field around him, I would say probably like 50% of the time, and you'll go all the way up there to get a hit in, and then there'll be a force field. So one thing you can do is use Death Grip to close the gap between you and him and get some hits in. Now right here I get caught with this yellow, I don't know, beam attack or whatever you want to call it. You want to be as far away from that beam attack as you can get, and you want to be dodging right to left. If you get close to him and you try to dodge out like I did, you're going to get hit a lot, and you just got to be careful. There's going to be a quick hit sequence. Go ahead and do that. You're going to cut his wings off. Now he's going to be kind of stationary, where he's more or less just walking around, and you can play this aggressively if you want, but he does have some attacks that take off, you know, 600-700 points of damage, so you just got to be careful with that. I'm trying to be aggressive, and then I finally realized, you know what, I'm probably going to just stay back, get my ghouls out, and let them distract me. If you try to play too aggressive on him without ghouls, then all of his attacks are going to be hitting you. But when you call the ghouls out, unless he does like an area attack like that one, then he's not really going to be looking at you the whole time, if that makes sense. And it allows you to get in there and get a couple more hits versus what you would have done. See right there, he's in the force field again. So I'm going back to my death grip. I'm just waiting for the force field to go away, and then I'm going to latch onto him. Now he does this sliding attack in the air. You can latch onto him there if you need to. Try to get a couple hits in. You see there I closed the gap. I mean, I just took him for like, I don't know, 30,000-40,000 points of damage and probably more there at the end. So use that death grip to close the gap when he doesn't have the force field up, and you should be able to take him out. Now to me, Samael is the hardest fight in the entire game, in my opinion. To me, the last boss is easy compared to Samael. This guy has a lot of attacks, a lot of area attacks, and a lot of attacks that can take off a lot of damage. And they're all juggle based, so once he hits you with one thing, he's going to continue to hit you, and the points are just going to start coming off. And it's very easy to die here even if you have full health, because once he starts hitting you and he's juggling you, then you can't really heal up fast enough. So you have to be careful with Samael. Now this first part of the match, like the first half of the match, is really not that hard. The latter part of the match is when it's a little bit tricky. So you see I have him down to about half his health. You're going to come up here, try to cheap shot him. He's going to grab this. There's going to be a cutscene. There's a quick time event you can trigger right here and kind of dodge his move. He's going to basically pull the whole entire level toward him, and this is when it gets a little bit tricky. Even for me, like I had a little bit of trouble with this guy. And I'll kind of show you why here in a second. So I'm waiting on him. I'm calling out my ghouls, doing my typical thing. Now he's going to do this fire attack. This fire attack right here will just take off damage. And the reason why he got me with this is because I got so close to him, I rushed him. And anytime you rush him, you're going to get caught with that, and it's going to follow you around the board. So you just got to be careful. So don't rush him when he goes back to the throne. And then this one, to me, is still a little bit tricky to dodge. I've tried dodging, I've tried running around, and for whatever reason, I still get hit for the majority of it. I think the bottom half of that, I don't get hit. And I forgot your name, but if you're watching this video, you actually gave me the tip to walk around. And I can't remember what your channel name was, but if you'll let me know, I'll put a link in the description, because you actually gave me that idea to not hop around, just kind of walk around, and it does work. You just can't get hit by the very first couple, you know what I mean? You gotta kind of find your way out of it. So just let me know what your channel name was, and I apologize for forgetting it, so I can give you credit for that strategy. But okay, so this is the last boss of the game. Corruption, whatever you want to call him. Not hard at all. Call the ghouls out. You really want to fight this guy aggressively, because if you lay back too much, he does have a lot of attacks that can take off a lot of energy, and I feel like you're better off just going up there and just bum rushing this guy, you know what I mean, and trying to get as many hits as you can in. If you go in here with 5 potions, you shouldn't have any problems, and he's not going to be hard to take out at all. But if you lay back and kind of play that dance with him, and he keeps getting those shots, then you're probably not gonna make it. He does have a lot of attacks that can hit you at range, so I feel like your best shot is to go ahead and get in there, get your hands dirty, and start attacking. You can see that his energy comes down way quick if you have the right character build. And if you need help with any of the puzzles, just check out the playlist on the channel. I cover pretty much every puzzle in the game. I have 70-something videos on this, and that'll help you out a lot. So that's A True Horseman. That's beating the game on Apocalyptic. You guys have a good day. Be good.